My parents told me, your sister needs your college fund because she's pregnant. You can work your way through school. It builds character. I withdrew the entire fund and moved out overnight. 5 years later, they called begging for help. Because sister drained their retirement, I sent them a coupon for character building classes and blocked the number. Hey Reddit, ever been the responsible kid who did everything right, only to watch your screw-up sibling get rewarded for doing everything wrong? Yeah, that was my entire childhood. But when my parents tried to steal my college fund to bail out my pregnant sister, I taught them a lesson in consequences they'll never forget. Buckle up, because this gets satisfying. So I'm Riley, 23 male, and I've got a sister named Ashley, 26 female, who's been the golden child since the day she learned to fake cry on command. I'm talking Olympic-level manipulation skills from the age of 5. Kid could turn on the waterworks faster than you could say, it's not fair. And suddenly I'd be the bad guy for existing. Growing up, the favoritism was so obvious, it would have made a sitcom writer blush. Ashley wanted dance lessons? Mom immediately signed her up for the most expensive studio in town, bought her 3 different leotards, and attended every single recital like she was watching prima ballerinas at Lincoln Center. I asked for guitar lessons once and got told, maybe next year. A next year that somehow stretched into never. When Ashley was 16, she crashed mom's car into a mailbox because she was texting her boyfriend while driving. You know what my parents said? These things happen, sweetie. That's what insurance is for. I came home 10 minutes past curfew from my shift at the auto shop, where I worked weekends, and got grounded for 2 weeks for being irresponsible and disrespectful. The double standards were absolutely insane. Ashley would bail on family dinners to hang out with friends, and it was fine because she's so popular, we should be proud. I'd skip one Sunday dinner because I had to cover someone's shift at work, and suddenly I was abandoning the family and didn't understand priorities. Here's the thing though, I figured out pretty early that complaining about the favoritism just made me look petty. So I kept my head down, worked hard, and became the kid who didn't need anything from anyone. Got straight A's without help, worked part-time jobs since I was 15, saved every penny, learned that self-reliance was the only reliable thing in life. My parents loved telling people about their 2 completely different kids. Ashley was the social butterfly who lit up every room. Translation: she partied constantly and barely passed her classes. I was the serious one who was so focused on school. Translation: I had my head screwed on straight and actually gave a crap about my future. The funny part? They said it like it was just a personality difference, not a direct result of how they'd raised us. Ashley never learned consequences because she never faced any. I learned consequences were inevitable, so I might as well stay ahead of them. By senior year of high school, our paths were pretty set. Ashley was squeaking by with C's and D's, skipping class to hang out with her burnout boyfriend Corey. Yes, that's his real name. And yes, he was exactly what you're picturing. I was pulling a 3.9 GPA while working 20 hours a week at Henderson's Auto Repair. The shop owner, Mr. Henderson, was this gruff 60-something Vietnam vet who ran the place like a military operation. He scared most of the high school kids who tried to work there. But I loved it. No BS, no excuses. You either did the work right, or you did it again until you got it right. You're one of the good ones, he'd tell me while we were replacing brake pads or rotating tires. Most kids your age can't show up on time, let alone actually work. Coming from him, that was basically a hug. The money I made there went straight into my college fund. Well, not straight. First it went into my bank account, then I'd transfer it to the 529 college savings plan my grandfather had set up for me when I was born. See, Grandpa Jim was the only one in the family who saw through my parents' BS. He was my mom's dad, this retired engineer who believed in rewarding actual effort instead of potential. When I was born, he opened a college fund in my name. Every birthday and Christmas, instead of toys, he'd deposit money into it. Your parents mean well, he told me once when I was about 14, but they confuse helping with enabling. You're going to need this when the time comes. He was right. By the time I graduated high school, between Grandpa's contributions and my own deposits from work, that fund had about $42,000 in it. Not enough to cover 4 years at a fancy private school, but enough to get me through a state university without drowning in debt. I'd been accepted to state university with a partial academic scholarship. Between the scholarship, my college fund, and working part-time, I'd be able to graduate debt-free if I was careful. That was the plan. That was always the plan. Ashley's plan, on the other hand, seemed to involve failing community college after 1 semester, and then working a string of retail jobs she'd quit whenever she got bored. Last I'd heard, she was working at some boutique in the mall, mostly so she could use her employee discount. But here's where things get interesting. About 3 weeks before I was supposed to leave for college, Ashley shows up at a family dinner with Corey in tow, looking nervous as hell. Mom's making pot roast, Dad's pretending to care about the baseball game on TV, and I'm just trying to eat my food in peace before my evening shift. Ashley clears her throat like she's about to announce she won the lottery. So, we have some news. The table goes quiet. Even Dad mutes the TV. We're pregnant, Ashley squeals, grabbing Corey's hand like they'd just gotten engaged to royalty instead of knocked up at 26 and 27 respectively. Mom's face does this weird thing where she tries to look happy and horrified at the same time. Dad just stares at his pot roast like it might have answers. I keep eating because, honestly, I saw this coming from a mile away. That's wonderful, honey, Mom finally manages, her voice hitting that high-pitched tone she gets when she's trying to convince herself of something. This is such a blessing. Right, honey? She kicks Dad under the table. Yeah, blessing. Great. Dad's still processing. You can practically see the calculator running behind his eyes, tallying up how much this is about to cost him. Corey, to his credit, looks appropriately terrified. We're really excited, he says, voice cracking slightly. It's gonna be great. I'm sitting there thinking about how Corey works at a cell phone kiosk in the mall, and Ashley can't hold a job for more than 4 months. These two can barely take care of themselves, let alone a whole human being. But pointing that out would make me the bad guy, so I keep my mouth shut and focus on my green beans. The dinner devolves into the logistics of it all. Where are they going to live? Ashley's apartment is a studio that barely fits one person. How are they going to afford baby stuff? Have they thought about health insurance? What about childcare when the baby comes? Every question gets the same vague answer. We'll figure it out. The universal phrase of people who have never figured anything out in their entire lives. I finish dinner, excuse myself, and head to work. While I'm rotating tires and doing oil changes, I'm thinking about how this is going to play out. I've seen this movie before. Ashley gets in over her head. My parents rush in to save her, and somehow I'm expected to be understanding and supportive while they drain their resources keeping her afloat. What I didn't expect was them coming from my college fund. 2 days later, my parents call a family meeting. In my house, family meetings were never about anything good. They were always about someone needing something from someone else. Usually me needing to be more understanding about whatever Ashley's latest drama was. I come home from my shift at Henderson's to find them sitting in the living room with those serious faces people put on when they're about to ask for a kidney. Riley, sit down, Dad says, gesturing to the armchair across from them. We need to talk about Ashley's situation. I sit, already knowing where this is going, but hoping I'm wrong. Mom jumps in with her rehearsed speech. Your sister is going through a very difficult time right now. She's going to be a mother, and that's a huge responsibility. She needs support, not judgment. Cool. When do I get support for busting my behind for the past 5 years? Dad takes over. The thing is, a baby is expensive. There's the hospital bills, the nursery furniture, diapers, formula, clothes, pediatrician visits. It adds up quickly. Okay, I say slowly, still waiting for the other shoe to drop. Mom reaches over and pats my hand, like I'm about to receive devastating news. We've been thinking, and we believe the best solution is for Ashley to use your college fund to help get her settled with the baby. I just stare at them. Surely I misheard. Surely my parents did not just suggest stealing my college fund to pay for my sister's consequences. Excuse me? Now, before you get upset, Dad starts, doing that calm hand gesture like he's negotiating with a hostage taker. Hear us out. Ashley needs this money now. You, on the other hand, you're smart. You're capable. You can work your way through school like plenty of students do. It builds character. Builds character. They want to steal my college fund, and they're framing it as doing me a favor. That's my money, I say, my voice remarkably steady considering the rage building in my chest. Grandpa Jim set that up for me. I've been contributing to it since I was 15. That's for my education. Mom's eyes get watery, her signature move. Riley, please don't be selfish. Your sister needs help. This is what family does. We help each other. Help each other? When exactly has Ashley helped me with anything? That's not the point, Dad says sharply. The point is, she needs this now. You can get student loans like everyone else. You'll be fine. The audacity is honestly impressive. They want me to take on debt for the next decade, so Ashley can furnish a nursery for a baby she made with her deadbeat boyfriend. No, I say simply. Mom looks shocked, like the word no isn't in her vocabulary when it comes to Ashley's needs. Riley, you're not thinking about this properly. Your sister is going to be a mother. A baby needs things. You're young. You have your whole life to pay off loans. And she's older than me. She's had her whole adult life to not get pregnant by someone who can barely afford his own rent. This isn't my problem to solve. Dad's face turns that special shade of red that means he's about to lose it. You will help your sister. We're your parents, and we're telling you this is what's happening. No, it's not. The fund is in your name, but we're your parents. We can access it on your behalf until you're 25, Mom says, and I can tell she's been practicing this line. Here's what they didn't know. Grandpa Jim was smarter than all of them combined. When he set up that 529 plan, he made sure that once I turned 18, only I could access it or make changes to it. The account was in my name, under my control, period. Actually, you can't, I tell them, standing up. The account transferred to my full control when I turned 18. You have zero access to it. The looks on their faces? Priceless. Mom's mouth literally drops open. Dad's confusion shifts rapidly to anger. That sneaky old, Dad starts, then catches himself. Your grandfather had no right to do that without discussing it with us. He had every right. It's not your money. It never was. It's mine. Riley, please, Mom's crying now, real tears this time. Your sister really needs this. Can't you find it in your heart to help family? I look at both of them. These people who spent my entire childhood showing me exactly where I ranked in their priorities, now asking me to sacrifice my future for the sister who never once had to sacrifice anything. Family helps each other, right? I say. So when I ask for help with guitar lessons, Where was that family spirit? When I needed a ride to the district science fair, where were you? Oh, right, at Ashley's dance recital. When I made honor roll every single semester and you barely noticed, was that family helping each other? That's ancient history, Dad snaps. Stop being dramatic. No, it's a pattern. And I'm done being the one who has to understand, sacrifice, and bend so Ashley can keep making bad choices without consequences. I walk out of the living room and head straight to my room. Behind me, I hear Mom crying harder and Dad saying something about teaching me respect. I don't care anymore. I pack a bag with essentials, grab my laptop, and text my buddy Jordan. Can I crash at your place for a few days? Family drama. Always, man. Doors unlocked. Before I leave, I do 3 things. First, I log into my 529 account and verify that only I can access it. Second, I transfer every single penny out of that account and into a different savings account at a different bank, one my parents definitely don't know about. All $42,127.18 of it. Third, I write a note and leave it on the kitchen counter. Since Ashley needs the money so badly, and I can just work my way through school because it builds character, I've made it easier for everyone. The fund is gone. I withdrew every penny and moved it somewhere you can't touch it. I'll be paying for my own education with my own money, just like you wanted. Consider this my resignation from being the family's backup plan. Good luck with the baby. I grab my keys and walk out, leaving my phone behind so they can't blow it up with guilt trips. The drive to Jordan's apartment is almost meditative. I'm calm in a way that probably should worry me. No anger, no regret, just this clarity that I'd finally stopped playing a rigged game. Jordan takes one look at me and grabs 2 sodas from his fridge. What happened? I tell him everything. The dinner announcement, the family meeting, the demand for my college fund, all of it. Jordan's face goes through several expressions before settling on disgusted. Dude, they wanted you to give up your college money so your sister can buy baby cribs? Yep, that's messed up even for your family. Jordan and I had been friends since middle school. He'd witnessed enough family dinners and holidays to know exactly what my household dynamic was like. He called it emotional hostage-taking, which was probably the most accurate description I'd ever heard. So what's your plan? He asks. Finish the summer working at Henderson's? Start college in August like I planned. Never go back to that house again. You're really done? I'm really done. The next few days were peaceful. Jordan's place was a small 2-bedroom apartment he shared with our mutual friend Ryan. They'd both graduated the year before and were working full-time while taking classes at community college. It wasn't fancy, but it was drama-free, which made it better than any 5-star hotel. I bought a new phone with a new number, only gave it to my employer, Jordan, Ryan, and a couple of other close friends who wouldn't leak it to my parents. Opened a new bank account at a completely different institution and transferred all my money there. Mr. Henderson noticed something was different when I came in for my shift that Monday. You all right, kid? You look like you slept in your car. Family stuff. I'm crashing with friends for a while. He studied me for a long moment. Henderson had this way of reading people that probably came from his military days. Your parents giving you trouble about school? Something like that. He nodded slowly. When I got back from Vietnam, my old man wanted me to take over his hardware store. Had my whole life planned out. I joined the army instead, and he didn't talk to me for 2 years. Did he ever come around? Eventually. Took him a while to realize I wasn't asking permission to live my life. He clapped me on the shoulder. Sometimes the best thing you can do for family is show them you're not their property. Now get to work. Those brake pads aren't going to replace themselves. Working kept me sane. Between my shifts at Henderson's and picking up odd jobs fixing cars for people in the neighborhood, I was banking serious money. By the end of summer, I'd saved another $6,000 on top of my college fund. Not bad for 3 months. I found out through Jordan's sister, who was friends with Ashley on social media, that my parents were losing their minds trying to find me. They'd gone to Henderson's auto repair, but Mr. Henderson had told them I'd quit. I hadn't, and he didn't know where I'd gone. They'd tracked down a few of my friends, but everyone played dumb. Ashley apparently had a meltdown when she realized the college fund was actually gone. Posted some long rant on social media about selfish family members and being abandoned in her time of need. The comments were mostly her friends agreeing that I was horrible, mixed with a few people pointing out that maybe she should have thought about finances before getting pregnant. My mom tried calling every single number she had for me. They were all disconnected or belonged to people who had no idea where I was. Dad apparently threatened to report me as a missing person, but I was 18 and legally allowed to leave, so that went nowhere. The only person who knew the whole truth was Grandpa Jim. I'd driven out to his place one Saturday to explain everything. He lived about an hour away in this small house he'd built himself back in the 70s. I found him in his workshop, working on some kind of wooden birdhouse with his usual meticulous precision. Wondered when you'd show up, he said without looking up from his sanding. Your mother's called me 6 times this week asking if I knew where you were. What did you tell her? That you were an adult making adult decisions and I wasn't your keeper. He finally looked up at me. They tried to take the college fund, didn't they? How did you? Because I know my daughter. Smart woman in a lot of ways, but she's got a blind spot the size of Texas when it comes to Ashley. Always has. He set down his sandpaper. You move the money? Every penny. New bank, new account, completely separate. He smiled, and it was the first genuine approval I'd felt from anyone in my family in months. Good. I set that fund up for you because I knew you'd actually use it for its purpose. Ashley's situation isn't your emergency. Mom said family helps family. Family does help family, but help means supporting someone through a challenge, not enabling them to avoid consequences. He gestured to his workshop. I taught your mother and her brother how to use tools, how to fix things, how to be self-sufficient. Your Uncle Dan used those skills to build a career as a carpenter. Your mother used them to, well, she knows how to hang pictures at least. Point is, I gave them the same tools. What they did with them was their choice. We talked for hours that day. He told me stories about his own parents, about learning hard lessons, about the difference between helping and hurting. When I left, he handed me an envelope. Don't open this until you're moved into your dorm, he said. Inside was a check for $5,000 and a note. For textbooks, furniture, or whatever else you need. Proud of you for standing your ground. Love, Grandpa. I cried in my car for 10 minutes before driving back to Jordan's place. August came faster than I expected. Move-in day at State University was chaos in the best way possible. Freshmen everywhere, parents helping carry mini fridges and desk lamps, that mixture of excitement and terror that comes with starting something completely new. I moved into my dorm alone. No family, no parents taking pictures, no one crying about their baby leaving home. Just me, my stuff, and my future. And honestly, it was perfect. My roommate was this kid named Blake from California who'd somehow ended up at a Midwest university. Cool guy, pre-med, obsessed with hiking and rock climbing. We got along immediately. No parents helping you move in? He asked as I hauled my last box up the stairs. Nah, they couldn't make it. Easier than explaining the truth. College was everything I'd hoped it would be. I'd declared a major in automotive engineering. Figured I might as well turn my years at Henderson's into an actual career. The classes were challenging but manageable. Made friends easily. Joined a club focused on restoring classic cars. Started dating this girl named Avery from my engineering class, who thought it was attractive that I could rebuild a transmission. I picked up a part-time job at a local auto shop near campus. The owner, Frank, was this old-school mechanic who appreciated that I actually knew what I was doing. Between that and being smart with my college fund money, I was doing fine financially. No debt, no stress, no family drama. The first semester flew by. I called Grandpa Jim every Sunday, sent him pictures of projects I was working on in my engineering classes. He'd send back feedback and encouragement, usually ending with, "Keep making me proud, kid." Thanksgiving came and went. I spent it with Blake's family who'd flown out to visit him. They were normal in a way that felt almost alien to me. Parents who treated their kids like individuals, siblings who actually seemed to like each other, dinner conversations that didn't devolve into guilt trips or manipulations. Christmas break, I picked up extra shifts at Frank's shop, made good money, saved most of it, bought myself a decent laptop to replace my dying old one. Didn't go home, didn't call, sent Grandpa Jim a card and a photo of my fall semester report card. Straight A's. His response: "This is what happens when you invest in yourself instead of other people's bad decisions. Proud of you." I heard through the grapevine, Jordan's sister's social media stalking, that Ashley had her baby right before Christmas. A girl. She named her something trendy that I immediately forgot. The photos showed Ashley and Corey looking exhausted and overwhelmed. My parents hovering in the background of every shot, clearly doing most of the actual baby care. Mom apparently spent the holidays posting passive-aggressive Facebook statuses about family members who abandoned their loved ones during important times, and the true meaning of family loyalty. Several relatives commented asking where I was, and Mom would respond with vague answers about me being busy with school and going through a phase. A phase. Like standing up for myself was the equivalent of teenage rebellion that I'd grow out of once I came to my senses. Jordan sent me screenshots sometimes. We'd laugh about the delusion. Ashley posted constantly about single mom life, even though she had Corey and our parents both helping, and how you find out who your real family is when times get tough. The irony of her complaining about people not helping after trying to steal my college fund was apparently lost on everyone but me. Spring semester was even better than fall. My GPA stayed strong, I got promoted to lead mechanic on weekends at Frank's shop, and Avery and I were getting serious. Life was good in a way it had never been before. That summer, I didn't go home. Got an internship with a manufacturing company that made automotive parts. The pay was decent, the experience was valuable, and it meant staying far away from my family and their drama. This pattern continued. Sophomore year, junior year, senior year. I went home exactly 0 times. Spent holidays with friends, with Avery's family, or sometimes just alone in my apartment. I'd moved off campus after freshman year with 3 other engineering students. Worked internships every summer. Graduated with honors and a 3.87 GPA. Job offers from 3 different automotive companies. In those 4 years, my parents tried to contact me maybe 15 times. Always the same theme. When are you going to stop this silly grudge? Ashley really needs her brother right now. It's time to let go of the past and be family again. Never an apology. Never acknowledgement of what they'd tried to do. Just demands that I get over it and come back so things could return to normal. Grandpa Jim came to my graduation. Sat in the audience with Avery's parents, cheered when I walked across that stage, took me out to dinner to celebrate. He was 82 years old and drove 4 hours just to watch me get my diploma. Your mother called me last week, he said over steaks that night. Wanted to know if I was going to your graduation. I told her I wouldn't miss it for the world. She asked if she could come with me. What did you say? I asked her if she'd even bothered to find out when or where graduation was. She hadn't. He cut into his steak. Riley, I'm not going to tell you how to handle your parents. That's your business. But I will say this. In my experience, people who refuse to acknowledge their mistakes will just make the same ones again. I thought about that a lot over the next few months. Started my first real job as an automotive engineer at a company that specialized in electric vehicle components. Good salary, great benefits, actually excited to go to work every morning. Moved into my own apartment, a real adult apartment with furniture I picked out and walls I could paint whatever color I wanted. Avery and I got engaged. She was finishing up her master's degree in mechanical engineering. We were talking about buying a house in a few years, maybe starting a family eventually. Normal adult life stuff. And I didn't think about my parents or Ashley at all. They were just people I used to know, characters from a past life that had nothing to do with my present. 5 years after I'd walked out of that house, everything changed. It started with a friend request on LinkedIn. Ashley. I ignored it. Then came a Facebook message from her. I'd kept a minimal profile just to stay connected with high school friends, but I'd blocked my family years ago. Somehow she'd gotten around it with a new account. The message was long. Something about hoping we could reconnect, and too much time has passed, and families shouldn't stay apart like this. I deleted it without reading the whole thing. 2 days later, I got a call at work. The receptionist patches it through before I can stop her. Riley Morrison? This is your mother. I should have hung up immediately. Instead, curiosity got the better of me. What do you want? Her voice was different. Older. Tired. Riley, please don't hang up. I need to talk to you. It's important. If this is another guilt trip about Ashley, it's not about Ashley. Well, it is. But can we please just meet? Just once? I promise I'll leave you alone after if that's what you want. Something in her voice made me hesitate. Not the manipulation I was used to, but actual desperation. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop near my office. Neutral territory, public place, easy escape route if needed. She'd aged more than 5 years should account for. Hair grayer, more lines around her eyes, shoulders slumped in a way that suggested she was carrying weight that wasn't physical. We sat down with our coffees in awkward silence. She kept opening her mouth to speak, then stopping, like she'd rehearsed this but forgotten her lines. I'm not giving you money, I said finally, cutting through the tension. Whatever this is about, if it involves money, the answer is no. She flinched. That's fair. I deserve that. That threw me off. In all my years growing up, I'd never heard my mother admit she deserved anything negative. Your father and I are in trouble, she said quietly. Financial trouble. Bad trouble. We might lose the house. Okay, I said carefully. And you want what from me? I'm not asking for money. I just wanted you to hear this from me before you heard it from someone else. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. Ashley has been living with us since her daughter was born. She and Corey split up about 8 months after the baby came. She moved back home, temporarily, and never left. That's unfortunate, but not my problem. I know it's not. I'm not asking you to fix it. I'm just trying to explain what happened. She took a shaky breath. Over the past 5 years, Ashley has been taking money from us. A lot of money. At first, it was for the baby. Diapers, formula, doctor visits, things like that. But then it became everything. Daycare, preschool, clothes, toys, activities. Every month there was something new she needed. I waited. There had to be more. We didn't realize how much it was adding up to. Your father and I were both still working, and we thought we were helping, being good grandparents and parents. But Ashley wasn't just taking what we gave her. Mom's hands were shaking now. She had access to our bank accounts to pay for things for the baby. We thought we could trust her. She was taking out cash, buying things we didn't know about, using our credit cards and then paying only the minimums. How much? I asked. Over 5 years? She looked at her coffee. About $180,000. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. You gave Ashley $180,000? We didn't give it to her. She took it. Most of it we didn't even know about until last month when your father got called into HR. The company's downsizing. He's being forced into early retirement. When we sat down to look at our retirement accounts to figure out our finances, she trailed off. Let me guess. Empty? She nodded. She'd gotten access somehow. Took nearly everything. We still don't understand how she did it technically, but the money's gone. When we confronted her, she said she needed it to provide for her daughter, and that we should have been supporting her better anyway. The audacity of this woman. My sister, not my mother. Though honestly, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. That's unfortunate, I said again. But I still don't understand why you're telling me this. Because I realize now what we did to you was wrong. Her eyes were watering. We tried to take your college fund for Ashley, and when you wouldn't let us, we told ourselves you were being selfish. But you weren't selfish. You were protecting yourself from becoming this. She gestured vaguely at herself. We enabled Ashley her entire life, and now we're broke and about to lose our home because we never taught her that actions have consequences. I waited for the ask, the plea for help, the guilt trip about letting them become homeless. It didn't come. I'm not asking you to help us. she said quietly. I'm asking you to learn from our mistakes. Don't let anyone, not even family, take advantage of your hard work and success. You were right to leave. You were right about everything. She stood up, left a $10 bill on the table for the coffees, and walked out. I sat there for another 20 minutes, processing what had just happened. An apology. An actual admission of guilt. After 5 years of radio silence and occasional attempts at manipulation, my mother had actually acknowledged she was wrong. It felt weird. Not satisfying exactly, but something. I went back to work, told Avery about it that night over dinner. So what are you going to do? She asked. Nothing. It's not my problem. A week later, Dad called my work line. The receptionist patched him through before I could stop her. Riley, it's Dad. What do you want? Your mother told you about our situation. We need help. I know you said no money, but we're about to lose everything. The bank's foreclosing in 30 days. That's unfortunate. Riley, please. We're your parents. We made mistakes, but you told me working my way through school would build character. I cut him off. You were right. It built so much character that I learned to stand on my own 2 feet. So here's my advice. Maybe foreclosure will build character for you too. Riley, and hey, maybe Ashley can get a job and help out. That builds character, right? I hung up before he could respond. 2 days later, Ashley called from a blocked number. I made the mistake of answering. You're really going to let Mom and Dad lose their house? She screamed immediately. No hello, no build-up. This is your fault. If you just helped out years ago instead of being selfish. Let me get this straight. You stole $180,000 from them, but I'm the selfish one. I didn't steal anything. I'm their daughter. They wanted to help me. Cool story. Good luck with that. I blocked the number. 3 weeks later, I got a call from a lawyer named David Chen. Turned out my parents had filed for bankruptcy, and the courts were investigating Ashley's withdrawals from their retirement accounts. Apparently, she'd forged some signatures to get access. We're building a fraud case, Chen explained. Your parents initially didn't want to press charges, but they don't have much choice now. The bankruptcy trustee is insisting. What does this have to do with me? You're listed as a beneficiary on some of their policies. Also, we found evidence that they attempted to access your college fund 5 years ago. That might be relevant to establishing a pattern of financial decisions. I gave him a statement about the college fund incident. Sent him copies of the account transfers I'd made when I moved the money. Didn't feel great being part of the case, but I wasn't going to lie for any of them either. The whole thing went to court about 4 months later. I didn't attend, but Jordan's sister kept me updated through her social media stalking. Apparently, Ashley showed up in a suit, looking like she was going to a job interview, trying to play the struggling single mom angle. Didn't work. Judge ruled she'd committed financial fraud. Sentenced her to 18 months probation, restitution of $180,000. Good luck with that. And banned her from having access to anyone else's financial accounts without a court order. My parents lost their house anyway. Too much debt, too little retirement money left. That's when things got really interesting. My parents moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a cheaper part of town. Dad got a part-time job at a hardware store. Mom started working retail at a department store. They were both in their early 60s, working jobs they probably thought they'd never have to do again. Ashley had to get an actual job. 2 jobs, actually. Morning shift at a coffee shop, evening shift at a grocery store. Her daughter was in public school now, and Ashley was learning what it felt like to work for every dollar. I heard all this through the grapevine. Didn't reach out, didn't offer help, just watched from a distance as they dealt with the consequences. About 6 months after the court case, I came home from work to find a package on my doorstep. No return address. Inside was a brochure for Building Financial Independence, a character-building course for adults, some community college program. There was a note from Mom. We're taking this class, learning what we should have learned decades ago. You were right about everything. We're sorry. The character-building line made me laugh. I showed it to Avery. My parents are taking personal finance classes. That's actually kind of sad. Yeah, but also kind of necessary. I threw the brochure away. Kept the note though, stuck it in a drawer. Life moved on. Avery and I got married at a courthouse with our friends there. Bought a house a year later. 3 bedrooms, garage I turned into a workshop. Got promoted at work to lead engineer on a major electric vehicle project. Started making serious money. Grandpa Jim came to visit every few months. He'd walk through my workshop, check out whatever project I was working on, tell stories about his own engineering days. He was 87 and still sharp as ever. When he passed away 2 years later, he left me his house and $50,000 in savings. The will specifically stated, to Riley, who made something of himself without needing anyone's permission or money, "Proud of you, kid." The funeral was the first time I'd seen my parents in almost 6 years. They looked older, tired, smaller somehow. Dad was wearing a suit that looked like it had been purchased at a thrift store. Mom's hair was completely gray now. They didn't approach me, just nodded from across the room at the service. Ashley wasn't there. Couldn't get time off work apparently. After the burial, Mom caught me in the parking lot. "Riley, can we talk?" I looked at my watch. 2 minutes. "We're doing better. Both working, paying bills. Your father's taking financial courses. I'm managing at the store now. Ashley's working 2 jobs, filed bankruptcy last year. She's in public housing. Good for you both. We're not asking for anything. Just wanted you to know we finally get it. Actions have consequences. Yeah, you do. She nodded slowly, handed me an envelope, and walked back to Dad's beat-up Honda Civic. I opened it in my car. Inside was a check for $1,000 and a note. From selling your grandfather's tools. He would have wanted you to have this. Mom and Dad. I deposited the check into a new college fund I'd opened. Figured someday maybe I'd have kids and they'd actually get to use their college money. 3 years later, Avery and I had our first kid. A boy. Named him James after Grandpa Jim. I sent my parents a birth announcement. Got a card back with congratulations and a $25 savings bond. Ashley sent a text. Heard you had a baby. Congratulations. I'm doing better now. One job, assistant manager. Sorry for everything. I read it. Saved the number under Ashley blocked. My parents kept sending holiday cards. Small gifts for James, a stuffed animal, a book, $20. Never pushed for visits. Just quiet gestures saying they were there if I wanted. Last month, Dad sent an email. Subject, update. Your mother and I retired last year. Small pensions, social security, one-bedroom apartment. We're okay. Ashley's a store manager now, better apartment. Her daughter's in middle school, good grades. We learned to live small and not enable bad choices. Took 60+ years to learn what you knew at 18. I showed Avery. Think you'll ever respond? Maybe, I said. When I feel like it, or maybe not. James is 3 now. Happy kid, loves helping me in the workshop. Avery's pregnant with our second. My career's going great. Life's good. Yesterday, I got a package in the mail. Inside was a wooden toy car, hand-carved, sanded smooth. There was a note in Dad's handwriting. Made this in a woodworking class at the community center. Thought James might like it. No pressure to respond. Just wanted him to have something his grandpa made. The car was actually well-crafted. Solid wood, smooth wheels that actually turned. Attention to detail. I put it on a shelf in James's room.